All right, so today we're diving into this solar farm proposal you sent over,
Sounds good.
and 76 acres of desert,
Okay.
just baking under the sun.
Yeah.
You've definitely got that solar part covered already.
Right?
What if you turn all that sunshine into a source of serious cash, though?
Yeah. What's interesting here is the potential for this land to be a real moneymaker,
Right.
right? It's
Okay.
not just about the environment,
Right.
which is a nice bonus, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're looking at a potentially really savvy investment opportunity here.
Yeah, and the timing seems perfect for this.
Oh,
Right? Everyone's
plenty.
talking about solar energy these days.
Absolutely. Demand is through the roof.
Yeah.
And there are some really serious incentives out there right now for
Right.
folks like you who are willing to jump in.
Yeah.
That $1 million grant we see in the proposal,
Yeah.
that's not chump change.
No.
And on top of that, there's a hefty tax credit in play too.
Oh, whoa, whoa, hold on a sec. $1 million grant.
Yeah.
What's the catch?
Well, a grant that size usually means you meet certain criteria and qualifications. It's not guaranteed, right?
Right.
But it's definitely something worth investigating further.
Okay, color me intrigued.
Yeah.
But let's be practical for a second.
Sure.
This all sounds amazing,
Yeah.
but building a solar farm has to cost a fortune, right? I mean, where do we even begin?
You're thinking along the right lines.
Yeah.
It's not like installing a couple solar panels on your roof.
Right.
This is a massive project we're talking about.
Right.
And with any big project come big expenses.
So what kind of numbers are we actually talking about here?
So the proposal mentions $25,000 just for the initial project engineering and consultation.
Yeah.
And this is to make sure everything's designed and planned correctly from the get-go.
Ouch, $25,000 right off the bat.
Yeah.
That's a significant chunk of change before even, hammering in the first nail here.
That's true, but it's important to remember this is an investment, not just an expense.
Okay.
Think of it like this. You wouldn't buy a house without getting it inspected first, right?
Right.
This upfront cost minimizes your risk and increases your chances of success down the line.
Okay. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
So 25,000 for that initial consultation. What else are we looking at?
Let's see. The proposal also mentions the possibility of additional costs for things like environmental impact studies and reports.
Okay.
And those can add up, potentially even reaching $150,000.
Okay, now my head is really spinning.
Yeah.
$150,000. This is starting to sound a bit overwhelming.
I hear you. It's definitely a substantial investment, but here's the thing. The proposal also suggests that these costs can likely be rolled into the overall financing of the project.
Hold on. So you're saying I wouldn't necessarily need to have $175,000 in cash on hand just to get started?
Exactly. It's more about securing the right financing and making sure the numbers make sense in the long run.
Okay.
And that's where a good financial advisor can help.
Right.
It can help make sure this project aligns with your overall financial goals.
Oh, so even though we're talking about a hefty upfront investment, it's not necessarily a deal breaker.
Precisely. There are ways to make the numbers work, but it does underscore the need for careful planning, expert guidance, and a realistic assessment of the costs involved. Right, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about those potential rewards.
Okay.
Because let's be honest, that's what gets everyone excited about a project like this, right?
You read my mind. Is this thing actually going to make money?
Right.
And if so, how much are we talking?
Well, the proposal highlights a potential 3-year payback period,
Okay.
meaning you could potentially earn back your initial investment in just 3 years.
Wait, 3 years? That seems incredibly fast. How's that even possible?
It's all about the magic of renewable energy and the demand we were talking about earlier. The proposal suggests that once the solar farm is up and running, you'd be selling the electricity. It generates, creating a steady stream of passive income.
Passive income music to my ears. But who exactly are we selling this electricity to? I mean, I'm picturing myself at the lemonade stand outside the solar farm trying to hawk kilowatt hours.
Not quite. This is where the concept of an off-taker comes in.
Okay.
Think of an off-taker as the entity that buys the electricity your solar farm generates.
Got it.
This could be a local utility company, a large corporation, or even a government agency.
Off-taker, got it. So it's like having a guaranteed customer for all that clean energy we're producing.
Exactly. And securing a favorable contract with the right off-taker is crucial for maximizing your profits.
Okay.
The proposal suggests exploring multiple options beyond just the default local utility company.
So it's worth shopping around a bit, even if it takes a little extra time and effort.
Absolutely. Remember, this contract will dictate the price you receive for your electricity over the long haul. A small difference in price per kilowatt hour can make a huge difference in profitability over the lifespan of a solar farm.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But navigating this whole off-taker landscape sounds complicated. Is this something I can handle on my own, or do I need an expert in my corner?
That's a question a lot of people ask.
Yeah.
And honestly, it depends on your comfort level.
Okay.
But if you look at the source material, it's clear that having an experienced solar developer like Mike can be invaluable.
Yeah, Mike seems to really know his stuff, 18 years in the industry experience with everything from small-scale residential projects to these massive solar farms.
Exactly.
He's seen it all.
And beyond his technical expertise, he has those all-important connections in the industry.
Right.
He knows the players, understands the nuances of contracts, and can help you navigate the often complex world of permits and regulations.
So he's not just a solar expert. He's like a solar superhero.
Yeah.
But having someone with that level of experience on my side probably costs a pretty penny, right?
There's definitely a cost associated with expertise, but it's important to consider it an investment rather than an expense.
Okay.
A skilled developer can help you avoid costly mistakes, negotiate better deals, and ultimately maximize the profitability of your solar farm.
That makes a lot of sense. It's kind of like the difference between trying to fix your car yourself versus taking it to a mechanic who's been doing it for 20 years.
Right.
Sometimes it's worth paying for the expertise.
Precisely. And when you're talking about a project with the potential financial upside of the solar farm,
Yeah.
having that experienced guidance can be the difference between a decent return and a life-changing investment.
Okay, I'm definitely starting to see the value in having Mike and his team on board.
Yeah.
But before we get too caught up in the excitement of potential profits, let's take a step back and talk about risk.
Sure.
Because there's always risk involved with any investment, right?
You're absolutely right. Every investment carries some level of risk, and solar farms are no exception.
So what are some of the potential risks I need to be aware of?
Okay.
What could throw this whole solar farm dream off track?
Well, we've already discussed some of the internal factors that can impact a project like this.
Right.
Things like unexpected cost permitting delays or even changes in government incentives can all create hurdles.
Right. Those all make sense.
Yeah.
But what about external factors, things outside of our control?
Yeah.
Are there any red flags waving in the wind that I should be on the lookout for? External factors. Yeah, that's a great point. What could possibly completely derail this solar-powered money train?
Well, one thing to consider is the overall health of the solar market.
Yeah.
It's booming now.
Right.
But what if demand drops?
Right.
Or government incentives disappear down the line?
Yeah, those are definitely things outside of our control.
Yeah.
Is there anything we can do to mitigate those risks, or are we completely at the mercy of the solar gods here?
Well, we can't predict the future, right? But
Right.
we can be smart about our approach.
Okay.
And that's where having that rock-solid contract with a reliable off-taker becomes even more important.
Okay.
It's like having a safety net under the high wire.
So the off-taker agreement is crucial not just for maximizing profits, but also for protecting our investment if the solar market takes a turn for the worse.
Absolutely. A well-structured contract provides security and peace of mind,
Okay.
no matter what twists and turns the industry might take.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we've talked about the potential rewards, the risks, the costs, the timeline. Is there anything else we need to consider before we decide if this solar farm is the right move?
One final thought, and this might sound a bit obvious,
Okay.
but it's important to consider your long-term goals for this land.
Okay.
A solar farm is a significant commitment,
Right.
potentially impacting what you can do with that property for decades to come.
That's a really good point. It's
Yeah.
not like I can just pack up the solar panels and move into a different desert next year if I change my mind, right?
Exactly. So before taking the plunge, it's worth asking yourself, what do I want this land to be in 5, 10, even 20 years from now?
Right.
If the answer aligns with the solar farm, then you're on the right track.
Wow, we covered a lot of ground today, from crunching numbers to navigating the intricacies of off-taker agreements. It's been quite a journey.
It has, but it's exciting to think about the possibilities here.
Yes.
You have this incredible opportunity to turn a patch of desert into a source of clean energy and potentially significant income.
I know it's a lot to process, but hearing you break it all down makes me feel much more confident about taking the next step.
That's what we're here for. Knowledge is power,
Right.
and with the right information, you can make informed decisions about your future.
Well said. And for our listeners, remember, this has been a deep dive into one specific solar farm proposal.
Right.
Your situation might have different variables, so it's always a good idea to consult with experts in your area.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Do your research and make sure this is the right path for you.
And on that note, we'll leave you with this final thought. Imagine standing on that land a few years from now, the sun beating down on rows and rows of gleaming solar panels, quietly generating clean energy and potentially changing your life. Something to think